Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. You know, in case you haven't figured it out yet, there is a Marxist agenda that is just spreading like a plague across this country. And most of the things, especially on the social level, are rooted in certainly in Marxism. I mean, there's psyops being done. I don't know if you saw the most recent one. I can't even remember now, that little town in Texas. This morning or yesterday, these guys out there, just a few of them, with these white supremacist, neo-Nazi looking guys, except they didn't. They looked like they were straight out of, some kind of ranger school, all clean cut, in shape, no tattoos, no identifying marks, faces covered. So there's psyops, but so much of all this stuff is really rooted in Marxism. Cultural Marxism, neo-Marxism. We're seeing it all over, and unfortunately, it's so unfortunate because America has been, for the last 100 years, has been the biggest force against Marxism and communism. And yet we've allowed it to creep into our nation and into our schools and into our homes for the last 40 plus years. Until now, I mean, even some people are publicly professing it, but even if they're not, it's so everywhere, it's into everything that I mean, you'd have to be just completely asleep to deny it. One of the things that we're seeing happen is this dividing and conquering, this taking the group and the part of society that poses the biggest threat to this globalist takeover, and demonizing them and separating them from society and getting the rest of the country basically to have kind of this herd mentality, to kind of stomp them out and to oh, they're the bad guys. Kind of like, if you're straight, kind of like if you're pro-gun, if your skin color happens to be the lightest around, if you're conservative, and also if you're Christian or if you're a Bible-believing person. That is bad. And we're seeing overt attacks. Over the past few years and decades, we've seen subliminal attacks. We've seen it in media, Hollywood, entertainment industry. We've seen it in politics, little by little, chipping away at it in education, public education and higher education. But now we're seeing this overtly. The new thing well, a couple of the new things. Hold on, my camera, it's kind of bouncing around if you can't tell on this nice, smooth country road, and it gets all out of whack. But anyways, one of the things that, of course, we've mentioned on this channel several times is that, like I just said, if you're white, everybody that's white is a white supremacist. That's become the message. Maybe you don't believe that, and maybe the truth is that it's not true. But the narrative is, and we've heard this so many times, and it doesn't take you very long to get online and find many, many people saying this. In fact, they're teaching it in many schools called critical race theory, that just because you're white means you're racist, means you're a white supremacist. It's bad. Well, the other thing is called Christian nationalism. And that kind of sounds bad. It sounds like white nationalism. It sounds like some kind of KKK neo-Nazi group, doesn't it? When you hear Christian nationalism. And that's what they want to make you think, that so that they can get it passed, so that they can get everyone on board that, yes, Christian nationalism is bad, because that's those real extremists, those people that do violent things and proclaim they're doing it because God told them to do it. Except if you listen to them, that's not exactly what they're saying. In fact, what a lot of them are saying is, if you simply say a prayer that goes something like this, and Heavenly Father, please bless this nation. Right there, you've mixed religion and politics. Now you're a Christian nationalist. If you believe that this country was founded on basic Judeo-Christian principles, that the formation of our style of government was based on biblical truths that our founding fathers, whether or not they were great men of God or not, they were at least taking a lot of out of the Bible, how the Father set up Israel in the Old Testament. A lot of that was how our founding fathers got a lot of the information and a lot of ideas for setting up this government. And if you believe that, then you're a Christian nationalist. If you believe that because all life is precious because God created it and that we shouldn't have abortions, well, then you're a Christian nationalist. If you believe that we have a God-given right to protect ourselves, and that's why you support the Second Amendment, then you're a Christian nationalist. We're seeing a lot of these Marxist, and I say that because that's what they are, these communist Marxist think tank groups. I mean, they don't claim that that's what they are, but that's what they are. You see, there's all these think tank groups, like the Brookings Institute, and I can't remember all the rest, but there's numerous ones. Many of them are funded by George Soros and other people of his ilk, and they sound very prestigious. They sound very knowledgeable, and they sound non-biased. And they can put out this study that, you know, people that think that they view the nation and politics through a biblical worldview have a threat because this, and this, and this. And of course, they always pull out the most extreme examples of someone that has maybe committed an act of violence because they're mentally deranged and have used justification out of the Bible. They use that, and then they'll put out some kind of study saying that how bad it is. And right now, and especially over the past 12 to 18 months, you can find numerous articles online. Time Magazine, the Brookings Institute, all types of, you know, religious freedom type institutes that are talking about how the dangers of Christian nationalism is in our democracy, which of course we don't have a democracy. The reason that they're doing this is they're trying to separate and divide us and alienate the Bible-believing, Christian, conservative, pro-gun, pro-life, pro-traditional values, those that believe a man is a man and a woman is a woman, all that kind of stuff. They're trying to separate and alienate them so that the rest of the country will say, yeah, those are some bad people. We need to stop that. We need to outlaw these actions. We need to change our laws. We need to eradicate this group of people from our society. Last night in the live stream, I do my weekly news recap. And one of the things that I mentioned in there, and maybe a lot of people didn't care and thought, well, that's ridiculous, because it is. But CNN and ABC and NBC News, all the big news things was spreading around a poll that was done, or a study, one of these studies, you know, think tank groups and stuff, this past week, that 70% of Americans that are straight, basically. So if you do not identify as an LGBTQ XYZ alphabet group, just the regular normal people, 70% of them, of those people, say that they think it's a good thing that companies publicly support Pride Month. I disagree with that. I know I'm not in that 70%, and I've actually never met anyone in that 70%, and I talk to lots and lots of people. I would really disagree with that, and I think that that's probably not an accurate number. I can't prove that, but I highly doubt that it's accurate. Another one, 71% of Americans support gay marriage. The numbers, I haven't looked at them a while, to support abortion that I've seen lately are over 60%. They want the American people to see that the masses, the bulk of the people, the majority, think that all of this Christian stuff, this Bible stuff, is bad. It's evil. It's archaic. It's not about equality. It's not about, you know, acceptance and love. It's evil. And so we're most likely, I feel, going to see a time in the future, and maybe the near future, that government steps in and somehow regulates regulates religion, regulates churches. I remember back in the whole scare, have to be careful because we're on YouTube, but remember how so many churches just shut down and you know, they just believed whatever the scientists said. You know, whatever the scientist quotes, quote unquote, oh, it's dangerous, well, we got to listen to them. And I said then, I'm pretty sure I even made a video on this, that I would not be surprised that at some point they will say, well, here's what you can do to open as a church. If you want to have people open where they can come to your church and have open for business, then you have to meet some type of health certification. You have to make sure everyone gets the thing. You have to make everyone sure does this. You have to make sure that you comply with certain government regulations. And if you do that, you won't be a state church. You'll still be your own independent church, but you just can't be open for business. I suspect at some point it'll be like that, and they'll probably add in all the pride stuff too. You have to be diverse and inclusive and equity and all the stuff that they're pushing on businesses. They'll be pushing on churches because a lot of churches are already complying with that. We are watching a cultural war, a war to exterminate Bible-believing, traditional, conservative, pro-family, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, pro-God people. I mean, you can disagree with me. You can call me an extremist. You can say that I'm a nut job crazy. I've gotten to eat just this past week. My goodness. I've been called a lot of names just in the past week with the hate mail. That's fine. It does not bother me a bit. It's like water off a duck's back, folks, because I'm very confident in my beliefs. I'm very confident in the truth that I see and read and accept and believe on out of the Bible. And we are watching our society, our culture, turn against the people that made it great. And if you think for a minute that, oh, it's just going to turn around and, you know, we're going to go back to being a Christian nation again, better think twice about that. While it could happen, I have my doubts. And we're seeing an extermination begin. I mean, this is how genocides start. And I know that that's a very extreme statement, but it is. You need to be waking up. You need to be making your plans, building your preparations, building your skills, and those around you that you know and trust, so that at some point in the future, you can disconnect from this world. Because that's about the only way you're probably going to survive. They're coming after more than just your guns and your Bibles. Coming after your children, your families, and you. Because you do not toe the line. You are not all-inclusive. Inclusivity doesn't include you. And we're watching the left and this cultural Marxism crush what America used to be. It's happened before. It happened in Russia, happened in China, it's happened in Cuba, it's happened all over the world. And it's happening right now here in America. And if you don't get yourselves prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually, you're going to get consumed and stomped into the ground by it. Folks, get your houses in order, because it's about the only way that you're going to survive through all this. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.
Folks, we are living in uncertain times where chaos seems to be around every corner. With wars and rumors of wars, economic collapse, pandemics, and more, we should strive daily to become more prepared mentally, physically, and of course spiritually. Please check out My Patriot Supply for all your preparedness needs. My Patriot Supply offers Ready Hour food, Alexa Pure water filters, and many other emergency and survival products. My Patriot Supply is an American-owned company, run by Americans producing American-made food. Emergency food from My Patriot Supply has a 25-plus year shelf life. It's simple to fix and delicious to eat. With My Patriot Supply, you can sleep at ease at night knowing that you and your family have the emergency food to last through the coming times. To find out more, click on the link in the description below or go to preparewithtravis.com.